All right. Can we all hear me? Sounds good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to new Yammer compliance and administrative experience in Microsoft 365. I want to start off this session by saying we have been listening to you guys. Customers have been telling us for years that they want an administrative experience in Yammer that's easier to manage and better aligns with the experience offered by the rest of the Microsoft Office suite of products. By the end of this year, security admins will be able to access their Yammer content in eDiscovery through the Microsoft Security and Compliance Center. All groups in Yammer will be Office 365 connected groups. Yammer will enforce Azure Active Directory authentication, and all files that are uploaded to Yammer will be stored in SharePoint. These additional points, yeah, thank you. Big news, right? These additional points of integration between Yammer and the rest of Microsoft Office will streamline the process of administering your Yammer network, give you greater control of your data, and help your organization maximize its use of Yammer. My name's Adam, this is my colleague John, and we're product managers at Yammer on a team primarily focused on giving our customers better control of their data and increasing the compliance functionality available in the product. In today's session, we're going to be covering the following topics. First, John's going to start us off with a discussion of our new native mode network state and how you can use it to start bridging the gaps between your Yammer network and the rest of your Office products. Then we'll review the integration of Yammer into the Microsoft Security and Compliance Center and how it will work with eDiscovery. Finally, we'll talk about some of the initial steps we've taken to enhance data governance for Yammer, and then we'll talk about the roadmap so you can start getting excited about what's coming next. Yammer has four main pillars that we think give it a unique position among the communication tools out there. Have you ever tried to start a meaningful dialogue with a large group of people? Maybe you sent an email to a distribution list with a couple thousand people really hoping to get some meaningful responses. Or maybe you sent an email to a distribution list of a couple thousand people really hoping that nobody would respond. Email has a couple of great use cases, but large group dialogue simply isn't one of them. Yammer gives you the opportunity to initiate a conversation with a wide audience, providing each user a way to respond so that they both feel heard and don't feel like they're spamming thousands of people with their responses. If a leader in your organization wants to give a presentation, whether it's to a small group or the entire company, Yammer provides a stage where the audience can provide responses and feedback, ask questions, and have that content moderated by the admins in the community. Finally, my favorite of Yammer's strengths is the ability to build communities. By curating a selection of communities relevant to your users, you can not only have your employees feel more connected to your organization, you can also start shifting the entire organization towards a more transparent and inclusive culture. However, the future of Yammer is focused on being fully integrated into the Microsoft 365 product suite and ensuring that we maintain our customers' trust through enterprise-grade security, compliance, and management functionality. That's what we're going to be focusing on in today's session. Microsoft offers a wide range of security and compliance features that administrators can use to protect your data. These services include industry-leading protection for your information, intuitive and advanced controls to more easily manage that information, insights and intelligence to keep you in the know, and constantly evolving compliance features to help you meet your compliance obligations. Up until now, Yammer's been excluded from all of these features. We hear time and time again, Microsoft's giving me this amazing suite of features for all of my other communication tools. Why isn't Yammer included? Well, as I said earlier, we have been listening, and we're excited to officially announce today that the first wave of these compliance features will be available by the end of this quarter. With that in mind, I'll pass the mic to John, who can tell you a little bit about what you can do to get your network ready to access these great new features.
Thanks, Adam, and thanks everyone for making it all the way here. I think you got your steps in to get all the way up here. Adam and I have done a lot of coordination to get ready for today. One of the things was to dress more closely, so I agreed to dress up, and he agreed to dress down, so it would look like we are more closely together. But what I'm going to start with is talk to you a little bit about native mode, and native mode is the state that we are going to have a Yammer network in when you want to be ready for having eDiscovery. So what does it mean to be in native mode? In native mode, it means all your groups, users, content are backed by Microsoft 365. So all your groups are connected. We are going to be able to, when you're in native mode, you will have eDiscovery through the Security and Compliance Center. From a rollout perspective, native mode will be the default for new networks once we release it. So if you're somebody who doesn't yet have Microsoft 365, you'll be having it soon. It'll start out default in that state later this quarter. For existing customers, we're going to have a tool that helps you align your network with native mode, and I'll be doing a demo of how that tool will work in just a couple minutes here. So let me give a bit of detail on what the benefits of native mode are. Some of your cheers from the SharePoint stuff, it sounds like you probably are already aware of this. It really gets down to, for the IT administrator, efficiency, peace of mind, and compliance. So from an efficiency perspective, you can manage all your groups and users just as you do for your other products. So no longer do you need to go into Yammer to make sure that, when somebody leaves the company, did they get deleted from Yammer? Peace of mind, the files and SharePoint stuff. So if you probably all have governance policies in place for your organization in SharePoint, those will apply to all the files in Yammer as well. And compliance, we have the eDiscovery that Adam will be demoing to you in a little bit. For users, there's benefits as well too. They get a consistent experience across all groups. Right now, your networks probably have some Office 365 connected groups and others that don't. So the ones that do have Office 365 connected groups have live events right now. The other ones do not. With native mode, you'll have live events in all groups. You'll also have richer Teams and SharePoint integrations. I'm not sure if you saw the keynote or if any of you went by our booth, but we're having a lot of new integrations throughout the suite, and those experiences will be much more rich when you have a native mode network. And lastly, with SharePoint, not only is there the security and sort of governance benefits, but there's also discovery. So if a file is shared in Yammer today, you can't find it unless you're in Yammer. When they upload it in a native mode network being in SharePoint, it can be discovered through SharePoint Search or Delve if the file has been shared publicly. And also file organization. So Yammer groups right now, you don't get to organize your files. If you're someone who likes to do that, you'll be able to do that in all your groups. So let's talk about some of the differences, because there are some differences with native mode networks versus legacy or hybrid networks. So all users must be in Azure Active Directory. So with this, some customers who've been with Yammer for a long time, predating even when we were acquired by Microsoft, they use a feature called Guests, where those users sort of have full access to Yammer just like they're an internal user. Those users aren't mapped in Azure Active Directory, so those users won't be available on native mode networks. With all groups being Office 365 connected, there's a couple implications of that. One is that if a user doesn't have Office 365 group creation rights, they won't be able to create groups in Yammer. Today, what Yammer does is if somebody doesn't have Office 365 group creation rights, they can create a group, but it doesn't get Office 365 connected. So now, in native mode, we'll sort of honor your wishes and not allow that person to create a group. There's also a feature that's a bane of a lot of IT administrators, which is unlisted groups, where a user can create a group that's not visible to anybody other than group members. That's a concept that's not supported by AAD and Office 365 groups, and so native mode networks will not be able to create unlisted groups. External collaboration. There are some impacts on external collaboration in native mode networks. In fact, it's really primarily one, which is if you're a native mode network, you won't be able to, at launch, host an external group inside your native mode network. You will be able to have your users join external groups in other networks, if so allowed in your security configurations, but you won't be able to create an external group inside. A lot of customers actually block external groups in their organization, so if you're one of those organizations, there's no impact here for you. I have had some customers ask me about external networks. Some companies get a lot of value out of external networks. External networks are not impacted by native mode. So you can, if you have external networks that are really important to your organization, you can still move your home network to native mode, and your external networks will continue to work just as they did before. Files, I've sort of talked about this before, but so all group files are in SharePoint. The one thing that's important to know is files and private messages. So now that we have Teams as part of the suite, we're putting less emphasis on private messages in Yammer. So we won't be supporting file uploads in Yammer private messages. And so that's it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you the alignment tool that will be available for those of you who have existing networks to see how you can migrate your network to native mode. So to access and use this tool, you will need to be a global administrator. So if you're a global administrator for the tenant, that means you're a verified admin in Yammer. And so to access it,
hang on.
And some of this you all may be familiar with if you're also verified admins in Yammer, but you log into Yammer and you click in and you click on the gear icon and you can go into the network admin area. And when we get up, I've also got a backup slide with a screen cap if we can't figure out the laptop here. Okay, here we go. So I'm logged in as a global administrator. So I click on here and you see here's the network admin area. And the screen will load up. And then you're going to notice a new option on the screen for native mode. And I'm going to go ahead and click in here. And again, to see this, you're going to need to be a global administrator. Part of the reason is some of the changes we need to do. In some cases, for some customers, you need to have those additional capabilities that a global administrator has. And so we have that as a requirement. But this is the tool. This is actually a preview of it. We'll be improving the UX before we release it. But you'll notice a couple things. I'm going to scroll down a bit first. And you see this is sort of some good summary information about how your network is currently not fully aligned with how a native mode network will work. And so, but it doesn't really give you a lot of granularity, right? You can see, oh, hey, I've got a couple of those unlisted groups, but you don't know who's owning the group, right? You may care a little more about an unlisted group if it's owned by your CEO or someone from her admin team, and you don't know how much activity is in the groups. So for that, we've created this downloadable report. And so when you click on this, it'll download a YAML file that has detailed information on all the users and groups in your network. And so it gives you information like, for users, is the user mapped in AAD? What was their most recent activity? For groups, similar information. Is the group connected? What type of group it is? Who are the owners? Do those owners have O365 group creation rights? And the goal is to sort of give you the information you need to determine, is there any actions you want to take before you run the tool. I've got this one actually locked down so it doesn't actually have the button that you would use to run it. So I didn't want anyone to make my network native before my presentation. But when you guys see it on your networks, there'll be a button down here that you would click and it would actually run the wizard. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go back to the presentation and hopefully it'll come up right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a little more into sort of the actions you'll take once you've made the decision or you're considering going into native mode. And I grab this. Okay. Okay, so when you run the tool, one of the things we do is we talked about all users have to be in AAD. So when you run the tool, the first thing we'll do is we'll take all the users who aren't in AAD or are not mapped to a user in AAD and try to map them. And a lot of times we can map those users. Sometimes these unmapped users may be people who just haven't logged in Yammer. They could be somebody who's been with the organization a while and they predate sort of when you enforced Office 365 identity. There will be some users who we can't map, and those users will be removed from the network when you run the tool. So the important thing for you to do, or what we recommend, is download this report, and you can see who the users that are mapped and unmapped, and you can figure out, hey, is this somebody who should have access and who shouldn't? And you can decide if there's somebody who should have access, you should make sure that they have an account in AAD. If they're not somebody you expect to have access, you can either let the tool sort of remove them from Yammer yourself, or if you want to, you could, of course, remove them yourself out of the network. All groups must be Office 365 connected. And actually, one thing I should mention here, the image on the right, that's actually a screen grab of what you'll actually see within the downloadable report. So on the previous screen here, this is the information you would see on users, and you see it's pretty detailed. So the roles they have within the network, what they last access date, the files they shared in private messages, lots of useful information. This is for groups, and so with all groups must be connected, so we show you information in there whether a group is connected or not. What we do here is if there are no users with O365 group creation rights in the group, when you run the tool, the global admin who is running the tool will be added to those groups that don't have an owner with group creation rights. If you're an organization that doesn't restrict it, yay, you won't have to worry about being put on those. If you are one that restricts it, understand that's going to happen, and through this report, you can determine, hey, there may be some groups that don't have any activity, there's no users. Those may be groups that you decide to delete, or you may decide that, hey, we need an owner for this and give rights to somebody who's already a group, or assign somebody else to it so you don't have too many groups that you're added to. Unlisted groups aren't available. What we actually do on those is we make those groups private groups. So non-members can't access them, but they become visible in search. So this is one, again, where take a look at that downloadable report. You can figure out which groups are secret, and then figure out what actions you want to do. You may want to send an email to all the owners to let them know this change is coming, and potentially do a little more hand-holding depending on the name of the group or the owners of the group. Same idea on external groups. External groups use the report, identify what they are, who the owners are, and sort of how you want to reach out and communicate to the owners. A lot of external groups in Yammer end up having no external users because it finishes its life, people finish the work, the external users leave. In Yammer, it's a little different than how it works with Office 365 groups, is you have to create an external group at the start. And so it's being external is a property of the group. With Azure B2B, any group can become external unless you restrict it. And so it's a little different. So all files must be in SharePoint. If we're rolling out the files in SharePoint feature right now, so some of you may actually already have that in your Yammer networks. For those of you that don't, when you run the tool, it will enable you for that files in SharePoint. And that feature that's rolling out right now is only for new files. That doesn't impact the files that were previously uploaded. The alignment tool actually does migrate the files previously uploaded to Yammer legacy storage for groups all over to SharePoint. So you don't have to worry about doing any of that type of migration yourself. And then we also talked about files and private messages. So when you run the tool, it not only blocks new uploads, but it deletes previously uploaded files. So we recommend you notify your users in advance that this is coming so they can download whatever important files they want. And so now I'm going to talk a bit about best practices for preparing for native mode. Some of the information on this slide is redundant to some of the things we went through, so I'm not going to. The main purpose for this slide for me is like after the fact, if any of you want to download the presentation, you have kind of a one place to go to see the different things to prepare. And so one of the things is make your network eligible. So to be eligible for this, there can only be one home network on your tenant. Most of you are probably in that state, although there are some customers that have more than one home network or primary network on their tenant. You also need to enforce Office 365 identity. I'm guessing since those of you who are here are probably from the majority of folks who actually do that, but if you don't, that's something you'll need to do in order to sort of be able to run the tool. Downloading the alignment report to identify the required changes. We spoke through all these, so I'm not going to say too much. What I will say is that the links I have here where I say head start, there are ways you can do some of these actions before we even have the alignment tool available. So if you wanted to get a head start on those things and sort of identify if which users are in your network aren't in AD, there's ways you can do that today. And so those links are there for you for that benefit. The main thing that's sort of new on this slide is just letting you know that this is something that you should be prepared for. And one of the important elements of that is having a communication plan. And so that'll include things like figuring out for what things do you want to have targeted communications, and versus ones just sort of untargeted. So for untargeted ones, it may be a message that says, hey, let everybody know this is coming, all these benefits you're going to get about having all your groups connected. Targeted ones may be ones for like, reaching out to people who have the unlisted groups or the external groups, things like that. So figure out your strategy on that. And with that, will you require a response? So some things you may feel comfortable with just letting people know, maybe letting know a second time as you're getting closer to the date, and that may be sufficient. But other things, you may want to get some sort of acknowledgement before you pull the trigger. Providing sufficient notice, in some cases, people will want to be downloading files. Other cases, they may want to change the name of the group. And so if it's an unlisted group that's going to become listed, and so make sure you give them enough notice to take advantage of that. And then I'm sure you all do this anyways, but we like to bring it up anyways. Just be sure to sort of export all the data and files from your network as a backstop. That's particularly helpful because remember, we are deleting files for private messages. So if there's occasionally people don't always pay attention to emails they get from IT. So if that happens, just once or twice, I think, but it has to be a really big company. If that happens, you'll have a backup for those files for them. And then lastly, run the alignment tool. And for the alignment tool, most things we can change pretty quickly. There are some things, depending on the size of your network, that could take a little longer. Fortunately, it's non-disruptive for users, these things that are happening. But if you are a large network with lots of files, the file migration could take a couple weeks in some cases if you have a lot of files. Once everything is complete, we start ingesting all the conversation content into the substrate so that it's available in the Security and Compliance Center. And again, if you're a really large organization, it may take some time for that ingestion to occur. It would be non-disruptive for the users in Yammer, but it would be, until that process completes, you won't have all the content discoverable through the Security and Compliance Center. And we will tell you on that native mode page when that ingestion is completed, and so you're fully able to do eDiscovery. So we talked about, Adam mentioned at the beginning, it's coming out this quarter. We are going to have it available this quarter, rolling out to both new customers and existing customers. So new customers, once we've rolled out, they'll start out there. They don't have to worry about any of this stuff. You can ignore what I've talked about for the last 5 or 10 minutes, or the actual 5 or 10 minutes. Hopefully it didn't seem longer. For current Microsoft 365 customers, that tool will become available that you can use then to migrate yourself to it. The thing with native mode is it's not sort of a static state. I mean, we're sort of hitching our train onto Microsoft 365. And so as things evolve there, we plan to be able to introduce those into Yammer as well, native mode networks. And here's a couple of the big priorities for us, though. One is Azure B2B guest access. So I talked about at launch that native mode networks won't be able to have external groups inside their own network. We're going to be building the Azure B2B guest support in native mode networks, so you'll be able to do that if you want to. The other thing is building a little more flexibility into the alignment process for organizations that have large and complex Yammer networks. So it's sort of, we do one thing when we run the wizard. So we went through like your unlisted groups will become listed private, and all your external groups will become internal groups. It's sort of a one-size-fits-all there. If you're a large, complex organization, you may want a little more flexibility in that, and that's another focus area for us over this coming year for native mode networks. And so now what I'm going to do is, once you make it through all that, or you're fortunate enough to be a new Microsoft 365 customer and you start out in native mode, you'll be able to have eDiscovery. And Adam's going to give a demonstration of sort of how that is going to work for you. Thanks.
All right, thanks, John. So Microsoft eDiscovery gives you the ability to respond to a wide variety of threats that any organization may face. Whether it's a competitor making claims of patent infringement, an employee violating your communication policies, or trying to steal trade secrets, or any of the other myriad of other situations that could happen any day, the tools available in the Microsoft Security and Compliance Center give you the ability to reconstruct conversations and view what your users saw so that you can see what's happening in your network. By adding Yammer to these existing tools, we aim to provide a more complete understanding of what's happening in your network and in a format that you can use to present, whether it's at an informal internal hearing or in official legal proceedings. Once your network is in native mode, a copy of every message posted in Yammer will be stored in hidden folders in the user's Exchange mailbox. At the same time, any file uploaded to Yammer is going to get placed into a SharePoint site associated with the community in Yammer. These folders and sites are the backbone of the Security and Compliance Center, allowing services like eDiscovery access to the content stored in Yammer alongside the content stored in all of your other Microsoft communication tools. That's enough of the background information, though. What you guys are really here to see is a demo of how this all works. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into a live Yammer network. We're logged in as user named Lynn, who's the admin of a reporting tips and tricks community. In this conversation, we can see that a user named Diego is asking for information on how to run a report in their network, to download conversation history, in an effort to retain that information for use in the future. Soon after answering Diego's question, where she includes a link on documentation for how to access that information, she gets a note from another user named Nestor. Nestor contacts her and says, "Hey, have you heard the news about Diego? It sounds like Diego is leaving to move to a big competitor." This immediately raises red flags for Lynn, who knows that it's a bad idea to let Diego download conversation history to bring with him to a competitor. She also receives a follow-up question from Diego, asking about how to run the report that she sent the documentation on. As soon as she gets this, she realizes that he is indeed trying to steal trade secrets, and she notifies him that she's locking down his reporting access to prevent him from taking that information with him. Now that we've seen what these communications look like in Yammer, let's see what they look like in eDiscovery. So here's the homepage of the Security and Compliance Center, and on the bottom left, you can see that we've got two options under eDiscovery: Core eDiscovery and Advanced eDiscovery. Today's presentation is going to be focused on Advanced eDiscovery to show you some of the advanced features that we've built into the system to allow you to manage these cases. What we're going to do right now is jump into a live case that I created earlier this week. And here on the home screen, you've got a couple of reporting options available showing what jobs have run recently, any errors that you've received, and a list of total custodians that have been set up according to this case. Any of you who've attended the security and compliance team sessions earlier this week know that we're actively seeking feedback on this page. So if you have any suggestions on any other reporting capabilities that you'd like to see here, please do contact us and let us know, and we'll do our best to prioritize those. The first thing we're going to do is jump into the custodians page. As you can see, once this loads, I've already created a custodian associated with the user Diego as the focus of this investigation. I'm going to go ahead and show you the process of creating a custodian now, though. First thing we're going to do is search for the user. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Lynn's name. One thing that's important to note is that this is not searching on Active Directory. This is searching on Exchange mailbox names. Once a user leaves your organization, one of the first things you're likely to do is remove them from Active Directory. So we don't want that limitation to prevent you from searching for users who've left the organization. By searching through everybody in Exchange, it means that anybody who has a mailbox with their name on it is still available to the Security and Compliance Center. Once we've got the user selected, we can jump to this page, and the system has automatically identified an Exchange folder and a OneDrive associated with this user and tries to include them by default. If you want to exclude that information for any reason, you certainly can by unchecking it, and if the system doesn't find it, it's going to gray out that content entirely to let you know what it did and didn't find. What we're really going to focus on here, though, is the additional locations. This is where you can store additional sites, any teams that the user's a part of, any Yammer communities that the member's a part of, to ensure that you're including the right relevant information when you search based on this user. If we go to Add, we can see the additional options for adding additional content to this custodian, and we're going to focus down on the Yammer section right now. So if we click Choose Yammer, what it's going to do is it's going to automatically look through the system and find every Yammer community that this member is a part of. You do have the option to search for additional communities if you want to include any public communities that you think they might be communicating in that they aren't officially a member of. But what we're going to do right now is select the Reporting Tips and Tricks community that's the focus of this particular investigation. Once we choose that and click Save, you'll notice that the counter is updated on this page to tell you how many of each of these items is included in this custodian. The final aspect of the custodian workflow is the ability to place a legal hold. This will include any of the content associated with any of the different sources that you established in this custodian, including team sites, Yammer communities, SharePoint sites. Anything you've listed here will be placed on litigation hold. Next, we're going to talk about the search process. So if we jump into the search screen, you can see I've already created a search associated with Diego, but we're going to go through walking through a new search to show you how this all works. Once you've given it a name, you can go to the custodian selector. You'll notice that when you click into the custodian screen, it immediately suggests all of the custodians that you've established for this case. You will have to go out to the other screen to create new custodians that haven't already been established, but you don't have to search through all of the custodians in the network just to find them. It'll allow you to do it right here. If you need to include any additional search locations that weren't built into that custodian, you could do that on this screen, whether it's selecting all to hit every mailbox in the tenant, same availability for SharePoint, or you can dive in and select specific mailboxes, specific SharePoint sites, and make sure that exactly what you need is included in this search. Under search criteria, this is where you can really build out the query to define what data gets returned from each of these locations. You can build a query based on any of the conditions that are common metadata fields on the messages throughout the system. But one of the things that we're really going to focus on here are the date and the type, as well as the keywords that we already have on the previous page. Under the type connector, you can see that we can select email, instant messages, and now Yammer messages. So if you really want to focus on the specific communications that users have sent through the system, a common search might look something like this, with Yammer, email, and instant messages all selected. And let's put reporting in the keywords field. We're also limiting the date to the month that we know where this particular conversation happened, just so that we don't see years and years of history. Finally, you can review the contents of your search, make sure that it's doing what you want it to, and then when you're ready, you can click Run. Let's go ahead and jump into the search results to see what we've got. Once the search has run, you can see an example of all the information that happened, including a summary of the query, the custodians that were included in the search, the locations that were searched, and an estimate of the high-level details of what was returned. If you need more detailed information about what was returned before you jump into the results, you can do full statistical analysis on this information, and you can also preview the search results. Previewing the search results gives you a high-level overview of what was returned in the search, but what you're really probably going to want is to jump into a review set where you can do detailed analysis and look at the exact results as they came back. If you click Add to Review Set, you'll notice there's a new option for a conversational review set with conversation retrieval options for both Teams and Yammer. Conversational review sets are extremely useful for analyzing this type of data because what it's going to do is it's going to take any message that met the search criteria and then build the conversational context around that conversation. So if there was a 20-message string where only one of the messages met the search criteria, it's going to give you all 20 messages in a row, giving you the background context of the conversation so that the one out-of-place message makes a little bit more sense. Once you add this information to a review set, you can jump into the review sets page and look at those results. Here we have the review set based on the search that I did previously. And you can see that there's a lot of content here, including emails, Teams messages, and most importantly for us, Yammer messages. You can see that when you get the Yammer messages returned, it includes all of the context of the other messages around it, all the rich text, including GIFs and active hyperlinks, and really gives you the full view of what the user saw in the system. This doesn't just work for group messages, it also works for the private messages. Here's the private conversation that Nestor and Lynn had about Diego leaving the company. And then here's the private conversation that Diego and Lynn had confirming that he was leaving, where Lynn told him she was going to block his reporting access. Some other cool things that you could do directly within here is you can go into the annotate view and add different tags and redaction panes to make sure that you're only exposing the information that you really need relevant to this case. And then you can burn those down to a PDF to prevent anybody from accessing the information that you're not trying to present. Now we're going to jump back into the presentation and tell you what's coming next. So one thing we've heard from all of our customers is that as great as eDiscovery is going to be, we really need data retention policies as well. It just makes eDiscovery that much more valuable, and data governance and eDiscovery together provide a synergistic benefit to give you the greatest possible control of your data. To those ends, data governance is the next thing we're focusing on. Coming in the first half of next year, we plan on releasing updates to Yammer's data retention and data governance capabilities so that you can set policies either at the user level or at the group level. These policies will allow the same logical rules as the policies you can set today for other messages and tools like Exchange. You can set a minimum retention policy to prevent users from erasing data before a set amount of time, or you can set a maximum retention policy, ensuring that once data has been in the system for a certain amount of time, it gets deleted. By giving you the ability to set these different policies based on whether the information is in a user mailbox or a group mailbox, we're giving you the ability to guarantee that information is kept in the system for as long as you expect to need it. As a first step towards the larger goal of improved data governance, we're excited to release 2 small changes that went into effect earlier this week. First, we've streamlined the GDPR workflow so that if you want to follow the in-product GDPR process, you're no longer required to change the network retention set across your entire network. If you do have custom-built apps on the APIs that are allowing you to process data deletion that way, those APIs remain unchanged, so those apps will continue to function without any additional work. Second, we're updating the terminology in our Yammer retention page to better align with the rest of the suite. Along with this change, we've slightly modified the behavior of deleting messages. Now, regardless of your retention setting, messages that get deleted from Yammer will no longer be accessible to users within the UI. This same change applies to messages in a group if the group gets deleted. For networks that are in archive mode, which is what we're renaming the previous soft delete mode, You'll retain access to these messages indefinitely through data export or eDiscovery once your network has access to eDiscovery. For messages in networks that are in delete mode, which is what we're renaming hard delete mode, the network export will retain access to these messages for 30 days, after which point they will become unrecoverable. It's important to note that once a network enters native mode, it will be locked into a retention mode for archive. This ensures that content deleted from Yammer will remain available to the eDiscovery and data export services. Once we release full data governance for Yammer early next year, you'll be able to configure additional retention policies for your Yammer data, which will control just how long that information remains available to the eDiscovery system. Let's quickly review and summarize the roadmap. Over the last few years, we set the foundation for a more compliant Yammer by making Yammer groups into connected office groups, and by providing in-geo storage for Yammer messages for customers in the EU. Earlier this year, we ran a successful private preview program of eDiscovery for Yammer with some of the largest insurance providers and financial institutions in the world. This quarter, we're releasing native mode and eDiscovery. In the coming months, we'll be releasing full data governance for Yammer, and after that, we'll be working on Azure B2B guest access for your networks. So how can you get more information from us throughout the rest of the conference? We do have a couple more sessions that are still going on. I know it's late on Thursday at Ignite. A lot of you are starting to get tired of these sessions, but we've got a few more really exciting things to tell you. So please do attend the sessions that we have left. We have our 3 remaining Ignite highlight sessions, as well as a couple of other great sessions throughout the day. In fact, immediately after this presentation, there is a session in Theater 3 right by the Yammer booth in the main hub, so we highly recommend you attend that as well. Again, another reminder that the new Yammer web experience is coming. The hyperlink on this page will give you an opportunity to sign up for the private preview of that new web experience. We're all really excited for it, and you can get excited to see it as an opt-in experience starting in Q1. Finally, don't hesitate to come talk to us at the booth. We've got a ton of people there with very knowledgeable about the Yammer system. Happy to answer any of your questions about the system. And finally, this page gives us the list of resources available. Please check these out. Let us know if you have any questions. We'd love to hear from you.
Anyone has any questions they want to ask? You can come to the microphone, or Adam and I will hang out, and we can answer questions for you as well. Hi.
I've not got many people using Yammer Network, but what we're looking to do is actually re-provision on European residency.
Sure.
When it goes to European residency, does that mean it's automatically going to be on the native mode at that point?
I guess it would depend on when you do that. So what you're saying is you're in the process of so for those of you who don't know, so Yammer historically has, no matter where your tenant was based, all Yammer networks were hosted out of the US. Last year, we released this local data residency. And it sounds like what you're saying, you're in the process of moving your network from the US data center to the European one. Do you know what the timeline is for that?
I think like in a week or so.
So no, we won't have native mode out in then. So you would be the hybrid mode, we call it. I mean, one of the things in the local data residency, there's not external collaboration in there right now, so you won't have to worry about like having to get rid of external groups. Okay. But yeah, unfortunately, you won't start out in native mode at that point. Thanks. Hi.
Hi, my name is Bhuvan. Thanks for the session.
Sure.
I'm new to Yammer, but our organization has groups that use Yammer.
Yep.
Over 100 plus countries. We have multiple domains in Office 365.
Yep.
For various projects.
Yep.
They're showing up as different networks. How do we want them to be like single network?
Sure. Yeah. So if you, in that admin screen I was in, and I don't know if you could bring it up. Are you done with the, here she is. If you can bring up the admins. So in the admin screen, the actual link right above the native mode one is a link that says network migration. And in there, you can use that to sort of consolidate things down. Now, the way that process works is it just sort of moves users over. It doesn't actually move content. So if there's any important activity in those networks, you'd want to sort of log in, do a data export of that data, so you have it available. Because it doesn't move when you do the migration.
Probably a communication is needed.
Yes, totally. Yeah, the same type of communication is probably needed, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Over here?
You mentioned the storage of a lot of the things was reliant on email boxes. What if your users don't have an email box yet for the system? We're not turning that on for everybody, but we would like Yammer to be available for everybody in the company.
So it should still work. Even if they don't have access to their mailboxes, the system will create a hidden folder in the background.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, great.
And one thing on the Yammer side, so there's an option in Yammer to whether to enforce Yammer licensing. And so its default is off, which means people who don't have an Office 365 license, if they do have an email on one of the domains for the network, it should work. But if you enforce Yammer licensing, the person, if they don't have an Office 365 license, then they wouldn't have access.
Again, just to build off of that, because it's linked to your Azure Active Directory account, everybody in native mode will need to be active in Azure Active Directory, and all of those users do have mailboxes, whether they have access to them or not. So,
This is just a two-part question. Is native mode going to be enforced at any point? And following on from that, are Office 365 Yammer groups going to be enforced?
Well, they kind of both go together. So eventually, I mean, the thing is that we're moving to the space where everything should be connected. So we don't have a timeline right now on when that's going to happen, but we do expect that it will be the case at some point.
Okay, I'll catch you afterwards.
Yeah, thanks. Is that something you would like, or?
Yeah, we basically allow Yammer to become a playground, so people can create they can create Yammer groups and do what they want, but we restrict the creation of teams to make that a lot smaller.
Sure.
So this becoming enforced becomes a big problem in that area for us, so we really need to consider this.
Yeah. And it would be interesting, I mean, it'd be interesting to talk, and we can talk later or whatever about sort of what those use cases are, because there are two sides of the coin, and so it'd be interesting to hear some of the use cases where you sort of like a little extra flexibility in that area. Thank you.
Thank you.
jump to the right.
Oh, sorry.
We're pretty restrictive on the global admin usage. Will you guys have a white paper or anything that that could illustrate the other RBAC administrative or platform administrative that you'd need, or does it have to be global admin?
Right now, it has to be global admin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But that is some of the feedback. I talked about the more flexibility in the tool. This is all going to be useful feedback for us, so to understand the challenges that you have. We'll go over here and then to you, sorry.
We're talking about the 30 days, right, before it becomes unavailable or irrecoverable, right? Is there a way to customize that?
So the 30-day deletion period is only if your network is in delete mode. So if you switch your network retention settings to archive mode, it'll stay forever. If it's in delete mode, it'll be available for 30 days. And once we release full data governance in the first half of next year, it'll be fully customizable.
And cannot be less than that? Less than 30 days?
Once we release full data governance, if you need to, you will be able to set it to less than 30 days, I believe, but we wouldn't advise doing that.
So the initial settings where that's where we're just sort of using Yammer's default ones, which don't have the customization. So once we release the full stuff, though, you'll get if anything you could do for the retention for like Teams or Outlook groups would be the same thing you could do for Yammer groups.
Okay, because we are implementing right now just a week retention. That's it. Everything gets deleted.
Sure, and if you can do that for Teams and other sites, you will be able to do it for Yammer, but we do need to throw in the caveat that the rest of the system generally supports 30-day restore for Office Connected groups, and a 1-week retention period will break that. But as long as you're okay with that, the system shouldn't prevent you from doing it.
Okay.
Does your network have to be in native mode to use a new web interface?
No. No. Yeah, so the new Yammer UX is not required for native mode networks, nor do you need to, so either way. So they're both independent. So you don't need the new Yammer UX to be able to do native mode, and you don't need native mode to get the new UX.
Okay.
Diversity and inclusion. So.
And another question. We are creating the Yammer groups with through the API to PowerShell scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still supported in the new web interface?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hello.
Hi again. Just, I guess, along the lines of kind of RBAC roles as well. It's a case of, is there going to be different kind of levels of Yammer admin? Because I guess at the moment it's either global admin, Yammer admin, and Yammer admin would obviously have a lot of stuff that's on there. I guess having people that maybe kind of, let's say, moderators or...
Yeah, I think, I mean, you may be referring, there's new capabilities coming out with sort of group level admin stuff. I mean, as we look to sort of, because I didn't have my notes up here, I didn't have one of my jokes, but one of my jokes was about with native mode, it's sort of, we're really moving towards Yammer not being a special snowflake. And so part of that is sort of adopting some of these sort of admin stuff. We don't have that scheduled right now, but that is something I think we need to do.
Because it means that, like, if, let's say, someone in internal comms wanted to moderate something that was posted on the old company, it means they would have to be able to edit the usage policy, do exports. Or like
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Thanks everyone. Again, thanks for getting all your steps in, coming up here. Enjoy the rest of the conference. And if you have any more questions, we'll be around a little bit. And there's also us at the Yammer booth as well. Thanks.